Hello there! Today I would like to take a moment to reminisce and remember a day that happened a year ago, I think to the day today, which is the Colby fire that happened in my area, which is Southern California, like the Los Angeles County. If you have a map, then it's up in Glendora, or if you're watching this and you're from Glendora, hello! This day it's probably not a big deal to a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people. I remember watching a video of a vlogger that I watch who lived in California, and they saw the smoke and they were like, "Ooh, look at the beautiful sun," and they didn't even realize what was going on this end, which was just kind of funny and surreal to watch because I was so close to it. It was probably, it's one of the scariest, if not the scariest day of my life, because the way things worked out, it worked out absolutely perfect for us, which is funny. But up here, we are all very, like, we sleep late, we all stay up late and wake up late, and the fire was at 6 a.m., and normally we wouldn't have been awake at that time, but Matt's sister, sometimes she runs in the mornings, and today happened to be a day that she was running, or that day, and she woke us up and called us. The weekend earlier, Matt's mother and grandparents, who live up here also, were gone, and so we would have had to take care of the animals that they took care of, and in doing so, we would have lost a lot more stuff, I think, and his truck for sure, because he wouldn't have been able to drive it. I remember being outside, because our house is not very well insulated, and going outside, just putting the stuff in the car. I remember choking. The helicopters didn't help. They were making the smoke almost worse, I guess, for us trying to get out. I remember choking and having this big jug of water that I was trying to chug because my throat was just burning. And the police, they come up to knock on everyone's doors, and Matt was outside talking to his mom about leaving when a police officer, because the way this is laid out up here on the mountain is kind of odd, and the policeman, he walked from the neighbors towards our house, and Matt saw him, but the cop didn't see them, and he, like, stopped and turned around and left, and Matt chased him down to get the information that we needed. And he may have come up our driveway up to the house, but I don't know that he would have come up to our house. I mean, his mom probably would have called us, but I'm just saying that who knows. The fire ended up traveling super, super fast. But we had about 15 minutes in between deciding to go and needing to be gone. Because we woke up, and at first we were like, ooh, what do we do? And I didn't think it was that close, so I went outside and took pictures and videos. And then all of a sudden, I was going to take an update video as to how close it had gotten, but I never did because we had to be gone. We were like, okay, we got to go. And it took us 15 minutes to load up the car and the kids with the important things like pictures and albums and Filofax full of taxes and birth certificates and things like that. And I got the car turned around, and I had to go a different way because they were loading up the llamas into a trailer, and Matt had to, I thought for sure that our house would be gone because when they were leaving, they had to drive through a little bit of fire to get down the hill, and that was about a 15-minute span of time, I believe, and it was very, very scary, because I remember driving behind somebody, and because I had my dog next to me, and she's flailing all over the place because it was very slippery because it's downhill, and the kids are in the back, and the one's crying because she's just little, and the truck in front of me who was driving was going super, super slow, and I don't know why he was going that slow. Maybe he was nervous driving on the hill, I don't know, but he was going slower than me as a panicking mom was like, I got my kids in the back, get out of my way. And then another car was coming up, probably to help somebody or something, so we had to do the maneuver thing where there's only a certain amount of spots on the hill for people to get out of each other's way. So one had to pull to the side, and the one was waiting for him to go, and I had to tell him, no, tell him to go because I'm behind him. It was me panicking, and then I got to my father-in-law's house, and I just started, like, crying, like, oh, what do I do? And I had to wait for Matt to come down, and his truck was, I'm very, I have a wild imagination, so in my head I'm like, oh, what if he doesn't come down? And then he had to go back, and he wanted to make sure his mom had gotten off the hill, so he had to go back up, so I had to sit here and wait, and it was very, very freaky for me because I'm kind of a panicky person. The way the fire burned, which is why I think my house was spared, is that it was burning super fast. It was really windy, and that's one reason it spanned so quickly. But it was going so fast that, like, the trees that are right in front of our house were only burned on the bottom half. Like there's like a shed across the street, and that caught because it's wood, and so it just kind of went up it. But the tree, and I don't know if it was because of all the sap or whatever that's in it. Don't quote me and don't call me an idiot. I don't know this stuff, but the bottom branches burnt and the bottom of the trees burnt, but not really the top. And it's good because they, like I said, they rest on top of the house. And also in the backyard, the fire hit the chain link fence and went like around it, like it couldn't pass the fence, which is just a chain link. But I don't know how fire works, and I'm sure there are other things that are factors. But our house, it did crack our windows, and it did. Our door was like hollow. It had like styrofoam in the center. It burnt all the styrofoam and made our door hollow, and we did have to replace it because the top fell off. And then we have a window in their stairs, which I have shown on my vlogs before. It popped out of the window well, because it's like a window well type thing, and it popped out of it. We had to get that fixed. We still have broken windows. We were lucky in the fact that our house and we were able to get both of our cars and things, but our house was spared, and Matt's mother's house was spared. But unfortunately, his grandparents who live up here, because they were worrying about the animals and because they are older, they escaped with what was on them and their motorhome and everything in it, and the other stuff that they had stored in the garage, which we had stuff stored in there, but it's stuff that did not matter. They lost everything, and it was very, very heartbreaking. So coming back from the fire, or at least sitting down waiting for news because we couldn't do anything, I remember panicking. I remember calling my mom because my father-in-law had gone up, and we have like a water pump, and on top of a shed, and the water pump was gone, and that's right across from my house. Like, you could hop over to it, and it was gone. So we just kind of assumed that it had to have gotten the house as well, because in my mind, you know, fire's just moving as a big sheet. And my mother-in-law had said that she had seen the fire take one of their spare cars that they had up here, and it did take that car. But like I said, the wind must have moved me too fast, because I remember calling my mom saying that my house was gone, because if the water pump was gone, then our house had to be gone. And I remember telling her, I was like, I didn't grab this, and I didn't grab that, and Haley's going to be so mad. And so we decided to go up and look, and I grabbed the binoculars, and I found where the water pump was, and it was gone. But if next to it, I did see our window, that window that has popped out of the stairs, and I remember feeling like, oh. And in reality, the firefighters and everything, and the way the fire went, I think because it was going so fast, is that a lot of people were lucky and their houses were fine. I think one neighbor had to get their porch cut off or something. This is what I heard. And then there are a couple people on the hill who did lose their houses, and it breaks my heart. I feel for them, but I'm very, very happy and lucky that we got spared. But that day was just so long and exhausting, just waiting for news of what happened. I remember after we finally had permission to walk up the hill, like the fire was pretty much gone from that spot, and they were just doing hot spots and stuff. It smelled horrible walking up, because we had to walk up because there was no cars allowed, because there were still fire trucks up there and whatnot. We walked up, and it was so stinky, and they were handing out gas masks and stuff, and I remember seeing everything for the first time, and it looked like a movie scene, because if you go to like Hollywood or Universal Studios Hollywood, they have like the plane crash from War of the Worlds, I think, and it's got like the smoking airplane that's crashed, and it looked like that to me, because I just like, there was just twisted metal and burnt cars and smoke coming from trees, and there's some railroad ties that are holding up supports and like holding up dirt, and they were still smoking and burning so hot because there are these railroad ties. And then seeing our house, and it had this big green thing on it. The inspector was there, and he put the green thing on there saying that we could come back, but we couldn't really. It took us a week, which really isn't that long, and I'm very, very grateful to not only the firefighters, but also everybody who worked, like Edison, to get our power back. We had power and internet, and the water issue was, we had a really nice neighbor who helped us with our water until we could figure it out for ourselves, since our water tank was gone. They helped, we were gone out of our house for a week, which isn't really, to me, I don't think, that long of a time. So, and then we came home and had to air out the whole house and wash everything that I think we scrubbed our carpets and things to get the smell to smoke out, because like I said, our house doesn't have very good insulation. So even though we shut the window, we still have a doggy door, and just, like, the seams of the windows, especially because they were cracked, and so the smoke smell did stay in the house for a while. So we went to the laundromat and just washed all of our bedding and all of the clothes that were in the drawers just to get rid of that smell. Sometimes it is still weird to look at the mountain and see it super bare, or when I look at old videos that I have here on YouTube of the garage and the motorhome and everything, how it's so different now, and there are so many trees that had to come down that you can just see for miles now, which is really good for taking pictures of LA, like this one. The trees, it's so barren up here now. It's really weird, especially to look back on old pictures or videos. But the mountain is growing back. There's lots of green, and I've seen green branches growing out of burnt trees and things like that. And so it's good. I don't really have too much more to say on it. I didn't really know where I was going with this. I just kind of wanted to reminisce about it a little bit, since it's been a year, and that feels really weird because I remember it like it just happened, and there's so many things. It's like, man, I wish I hadn't been so panicky, so I could have looked to see if the fire was really that close to me as I was leaving. Because when am I ever gonna, hopefully not ever, be that close to fire like that again? It was just very surreal. It's almost weird to think that it happened, because it's one of those things that you never think it's going to happen to you. And I thought that I could handle the situation better than I did. I mean, I was almost a zombie. I just kind of took orders, and I'm so thankful that he didn't have work that day, because I don't know what I would have done. But everything worked out, at least for us, and that made my hair look delicious. And yeah, I do have videos on here about the damage right after it happened. It was like the day of, I think it was the day of the fire. I took video to show everybody, my family and friends, what had gone on up there, and I will link to part 1 and part 2 if you want to watch it. I had to do it in 2, and I had to do them directly from my phone, upload, so they're not edited or anything, because I didn't have internet, so I just did it from my phone. And I will put at the end of this video what our house, or like around our house, looks like a year after. If you want to stick around and watch it after this, it's up to you. I'm just going to tack it on to the end of this video. And yeah, thank you for taking this trip down memory lane with me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I kind of did this spur of the moment. I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to say. I was just kind of explaining the day a little bit. And yeah. I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking around. First of all, I want to apologize for the video that you just saw like right before this, because it's all in one. I've yet to see it or edit it, so I don't know exactly what I said. But mid-filming it, I had to stop, and it got lost, and I had to refilm it from the beginning. So I don't know what was in the first video versus what I missed in the second video. So I'm hoping that what I wanted to say was said. Basically, I just wanted to explain the day from my point of view, and I'm hoping that that came across the best way possible, because I kind of lost my focus and blah blah. But anyway, as you can see from the background, there's a lot that has regrown in the year, obviously. The rain has trampled some of it. But as you can tell, there's a lot less trees. I guess if you haven't seen any of my videos before, you wouldn't really know, but this is all cleaned up. Our windows are still broken, like that one, and that's partially because we can't and our blinds got bent, and that's partially because of insurance fights. We did get a new door, though, because that was kind of necessity. But look at all the regrowth. Here's the view of our road from where I'm at, and you can see, like, there's the neighbor's house now. There's a lot less coverage, and I don't think some people are very happy about that, but there's nothing you can do about it. And there's a stump that apparently I was going to use to stand on, but apparently an animal decided to use instead. We haven't really done anything with this. It's mostly storage now, because that's where our water tank was, and we don't use that anymore. See, we still have this thing up, and it's all burnt. But if you can see, look, the burnt end's about there. That's just trickle from fire. So the fire never really went past that height, and I think that's what saved our house. Some things are the same, like that burnt tractor is still there, and that's some stuff that got burnt. But the burnt cars are gone, obviously. This is where a trailer was, and that's the new motorhome now for them to live in. This little house is gone permanently. We never... they're not going to rebuild it now. I don't know what. They just use it storage for the alfalfa for the llamas. And that is part of the garage that's being rebuilt, but we're waiting on permits, so it's not rebuilt yet. But plus, everyone knows, as everybody who's dealt with this fire probably knows, I hope you can hear me over the wind, insurance is a big deal, and they mess with everything. So I know there are some people, I read an article that were having problems, so I know we're not the only ones, but this is all built for the garage, but because this is burnt, I think we have to wait on permits. That's all gone. There was a car that used to be here that's gone. There is where another big tree stood. You can see the stump is still pretty much there. I remember coming up the hill, this was still burning. They were spraying foam on it. There's where the car was, sandbags for all the rain. More sandbags and tarps. We also had a big tree down there that we had to pull out. And I'm not walking down that driveway, sorry folks. And if you look, if you see my pictures, you can see LA right there. It's bad in this camera, but you can kind of see it. Let's see. See it? But it's a lot easier to see now because all these trees are gone. And they're, like that one, you can still see the burnt leaves on it, but it's still growing green, so it's good. We used to have a really big oak tree right here, which is what the motorhome was parked under, and it's obviously gone. It's gone down to the stump. That's all wood chips from the trees that we had to cut down. We used them for padding for the dirt and things like that, but as you can see, stuff is still burnt into the concrete. So yeah, that's pretty much, that's where our bucket was. But as you saw from the pictures that I hopefully was able to edit over my talking, there's been a lot of cleanup and it's a lot different now. There's still some things that are like burnt hanging around, I guess, but that's because we just haven't thrown it away yet because we just haven't. It's not really that big of a deal. Like there's a burnt patio set up there, but making progress. And I know there's a lot of people who, our neighbors must have really good insurance because I know they've already fixed up their stuff that got burnt, even though they didn't lose near as much as we did. And I'm not saying it's not competition because there are some people who lost everything, including Matt's grandparents, and I feel really bad. And I'm very, very lucky, but yeah, that's the progress. There's not really much to see besides that it's cleaned up. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video from my perspective. I hope you can see / hear me. And I'm going to go get my laundry and have a nice day. Bye.